Shalum. Shalom and welcome. Welcome to the White Roads Family Channel. If you are tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I'm compelled to present to an awakening set-apart nation. These are the end times, my brothers and sisters. But before I get into this message, I want to say that the views expressed in these words, in this message, in this video, do not necessarily reflect the views of the owners, managers, and/or shareholders or sponsors of this media platform. With that said, let's get into it. There's talk among many about a final exodus. And if you're tuning in for the first time, I want you to know that I am compelled to believe that by December 21st, 2023, all the evidence that is needed of the final exodus will be before us. In this message, my brothers and sisters, I want to bring your attention to the two witnesses mentioned in the 11th chapter of Revelation, and I want to bring your attention to leadership. It's time, my brothers and sisters, for us to start facing the realities of what has been promised by the Almighty Father Yahuah. It's time for us to look at our expectations and measure them against the scriptures. I shouldn't say against the scriptures, using the scriptures as a gauge. Do we truly believe what we say we believe? Do we truly see the end time prophecies unfolding? There should be some expectations and there should be actions on what it is that we should be preparing ourselves to do and what it is we should be doing. It's time to face those realities. And I will present the case as it relates to our interface or interactions with the two witnesses of Revelation and leadership. Let me continue, my brothers and sisters. But before I move forward, I want to say this. End times is very serious. Lives are at stake. It will affect the lives of many loved ones, friends, family, co-workers. It will affect a nation as it will the world population. There's no laughing matter about this. I've seen individuals speak of end times. I've even seen people speak of the two witnesses. Some with laughter, some saying that'd be awesome. Some speak as though they was envious of these two witnesses and that they wish that they had the power to do what they would be doing. It's no laughing matter, my brothers and sisters. It is a time when the Almighty Father will prove His last two major anointed shepherds, prophets, that will be used in the bringing together of Yashar'al, to execute words that bring about discipline, to execute words that will bring about vengeance and wrath. And I want you to think of it this way, my brothers and sisters, and pray about it. The main reasons that the two witnesses are coming are not to beat up on the unsaved, the Gentile, the heathen. The main reason of the two witnesses is like the last major efforts of leadership to bring Yashar'al, set apart Yashar'al, including Hebrews and Gentiles that are made one by Yahusha, to bring them together. The acts that will unfold in the coming days are to bring about discipline, improve worship and obedience to the Almighty Father. And to those who have attacked and did harm to His children, vengeance will have its course. And to those who are fighting and just battling and fighting against the set-apart children, wrath will have its course. Let us move forward as I get into this, the two witnesses and leadership. Measuring dwelling place and outer court in the two witnesses. I am compelled to believe that the measuring that I'm about to read It's about measuring the house of Yahuah. We are that house. We are that temple. And that inner court represents the inner circle as Ezekiel's wheel, a formation, a structure in which Yashar'al will come together. We will see gatherings in circles like a wheel with structures. Then the wheel, as it enlarges, as we gradually start moving closer to one another, will be like wheels in a wheel, as Ezekiel describes. But let me read 11 chapter of Revelation, verse 1 through 12, my brothers and sisters. And a reed like a measuring rod was given to me, and the measure stood, saying, Rise and measure the dwelling place of the Almighty One, and the slaughter place, and those worshiping in it. And I believe he's talking about, O Yashar'al, measure the body, the set-apart body, where Yahuah dwells within us and in us and through us collectively. And the slaughter place is the place where sacrifices, where we make sacrifices before the Almighty Father, as we seek to worship and obey Him. He goes on to say, but cast out the court which is outside the dwelling place, and do not measure it, for it has been given to the nations, and they shall trample the set-apart city underfoot for 42 months. There will be those who are not a part of the body, the dwelling place of the Almighty Father. They have their judgment. Let them be. And I believe, as the Almighty Father has said on many occasions, how He draws His children together. And we are to come away or purge wickedness from among us. What does that resemble if it doesn't resemble casting out? And he goes on to say, I shall give unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clad in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 lampstands that are standing before the Almighty One of the earth. And if anyone wishes to harm them, fire comes out of their mouth and consumes their enemies. And if anyone wishes to harm them, he has to be killed in that way. These possess authority to shut the heaven, so that no rain fall in their days of prophecy, and they possess the authority over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues, as often as they wish. And when they have ended their witness, the beast coming out of the pit of the deep shall fight against them and overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Mizraim, where also our master was impaled. And some of the people and tribes and tongues and nations see their dead bodies for 3.5 days, and not allow their dead bodies to be placed into the tombs. And those dwelling on the earth rejoice over them and exult, and they shall send gifts to each other, because these 2 prophets tortured those dwelling on the earth. And after 3.5 days, a spirit of life from the Almighty One entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and a great fear fell on those who saw them. And they heard with a loud voice from the heavens saying to them, Come up here. And they went up into the heaven in a cloud, and the enemies saw them. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, I want you to take a moment and read that. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. Let me continue to provide just a little bit more text regarding the 2 witnesses. Come with me to Zechariah chapter 4, verse 11 through 14. For it reads, Zechariah 4, 11 through 14. Then I responded and said to him, What are these 2 olive trees? One at the right of the lampstand, the other at its left. And I responded a second time and said to him, What are these 2 olive branches which empty golden oil from themselves by means of the 2 golden pipes? And he answered me and said, Do you not know what these are. And I said, no, my master. He said, these are the two anointed ones who stand beside the master of all the earth. I want to read one more passage to you, O Yashar'al, and I will speak on these that I've read in a moment. Come with me to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 9 through 13. You see, preparations are necessary during such times as this. Eyes open to see, ears positioned to hear with all seriousness. These teachers, these mores, these educators, these spiritual influence who laugh and giggle while speaking of end times have a problem. There's no jolly, there's no fun, there's nothing funny about what we have entered into during this spiritual warfare, during these severe times. Some can't help themselves. So I say to you, a more, a teacher, an elder, a pastor, who constantly laughs and giggles uncontrollably, saying it's just a habit. Is that the person that you believe is being disciplined by the Spirit of Yahuah? Is that the person you believe exercised the discipline needed to navigate end times? Consider these words, O Yashar'al, in 1 Corinthians 13, 9 through 13. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect has come, then that which is in part shall be inactive. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I thought as a child. I reasoned as a child. But when I became a man, I did away with childish matters. Let us do away with the laughters, the giggles, the fun and games. Saying, well, you know what I mean. You know I'm more about that. This is serious matters, O Yashar'al. He goes on, for now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know as I also have been known. And now belief, expectation, and love remain, these three. But the greatest of these is love. It's time, my brothers and sisters, for us to consider what will occur when the two witnesses come. Do they act just on their own as Yahuah has directed them, as the Spirit of Yahusha, the Word of Yahuah, directs them? Many people do not talk about where do we place during the time of the two witnesses. Many of us don't talk about when were they born? What happens during their ministry before they get to the fullness of their ministry that's mentioned in Revelation 11 chapter? What feats, what messages, what words would they have brought before Yashar'al? Are they here? There doesn't seem to be much talk of how do we vet, how do we begin to look and examine. Could someone among us, I believe they will be two anointed prophets sent by the Almighty Father Yahuah in Yahusha's name, representing the word that is guiding them to bring about discipline, improve worship and obedience. It is said in John 12:32 that if Yahusha be lifted up, he will draw all men to himself. And if the final Exodus is not about drawing us to him, what then do you think it's for? If the final Exodus is about drawing us to the set-apart mountain of Yahuah, to Yahusha HaMashiach, to improve in worship and obedience, do you not think that the witness's task, as serious as it may be, is to bring our attention to the Almighty Father, to his word, Yahusha, our sovereign, our king, as some will say. And I believe this is so. There's no fun in games and calling fire down on any individual. That's someone's father, a brother, mother, a child, a cousin. There's no fun in causing drought that can affect the food supply. There's no fun in that. There's no fun in blood, rivers turning into blood. Do you not know where drinking water originates? And if it is turned to blood, to what avail? I say to you, the actions of these two witnesses will be to bring about conditions that reflect discipline to the set-apart family of Yashar'al, consisting of both Hebrews and Gentiles that are made one by Yahusha Mashiach. I believe, my brothers and sisters, that the ebb and flows of the jet stream, how it affects rain, and when severe drought come, when tsunamis come, when famine and pestilence come, these are to bring discipline to the set-apart children of Yahuah, to the unsaved, to the rebellious. It would be wrath or vengeance. And I believe the rivers will be turning red as blood to let the world see that Yahuah has recognized the spilt blood of the innocent, of his children, and he's revealing it to the world to say, see, this is the blood of the innocent that was spilled by the wicked. My brothers and sisters, it is my belief that those who have killed, destroyed, and have done harm to the children of Yahuah will face the agony of pain through the promised vengeance that the Almighty Father mentions in the scripture. And those who don't understand that he's exacting vengeance for his children, but continue to fight, trying to destroy us, trying to demonize us, his wrath. But what we must know, O Yashar'al, is that leaders must be prepared to tell us how to respond, how to act, what to do as we are gathered for this final exodus. Leadership should be talking about how to vet, how to examine, what the questions to ask to identify the true set-apart chosen ones, as well as confirm the presence of the two witnesses. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, like I said, the damage that will be done will affect individuals that we may know, a neighbor, a loved one, someone that we believe is set apart. We must, and we shall, those who come into obedience, recognize what is about to happen and consider what will occur. I'm not here to debate nor argue. Who are they? For I believe they will be two anointed of the Almighty Father sent in Yahusha's name. And I believe their actions, the fruit of their words and their actions will prove who they are, will validate their ministry. I don't believe it's Elijah or Enoch, Moses or Elijah, Moses and Enoch, Zerubbabel, John. I don't believe it's any one of our brothers from days of old. And I say to you, O Yashar'al, gird up, be prayed up, and seek to discern how to identify as these two individuals emerge. Not only them, but the leadership that will reinforce their message, confirm their words, and support them. Let's revisit Revelations 11. He said, I will give power. I shall give unto my two witnesses, and I shall give unto my witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days clad in sackcloth. These are the two olive trees and two lampstands that standing before the Almighty One of the earth. If anyone wishes to harm them, fire comes out of their mouth. Again, I want to revisit this to emphasize, this is nothing funny. This is nothing that should be envied. Because these two individuals will affect the lives of some people's friends, families, and loved ones. There will be the cocky, the overconfident, the overzealous that will seek to harm them. But they will fail. Some of them might be our brothers, our sisters, our family, our loved one. By the power and might of the Almighty Father, they will be killed. You see, the ministry of the two witnesses, in many cases, many set-apart children of Yahuah are going to say, they didn't have to say it that way. They didn't have to do that. If you visit Numbers 16th chapter, and you'll find out when the ground, one of the first sinkholes opened up, and killed Korah, Dathan, and Abiram and their families. Killed them, destroyed them. There's no fun in that. There's no joy in that. The promise of gathering Yashar'al from the four corners of the earth requires demonstration of power and might in the leadership that is chosen by the Almighty Father. There's no fun and game in that, my brothers and sisters. They possess the authority to shut the heaven. Many people will be without water when no rain is falling. Disease and pestilence will cause many to die. O Yashar'al, we must be mindful that those who are rejoicing at the death of the two witnesses are not just the unsaved. Many will be some set-apart ones that fail to discern that these were the two anointed ones of Yahuah. My brothers and sisters, what is the leadership saying? Beware of false prophets. You see, my brothers and sisters, many people will try to steal the narrative. In other words, as drought comes, some are going to say, oh yeah, I did that. I ordered that in Yahusha's name. Some will even say in Jesus' name. There will be false prophets that say, oh yeah, I ordered the rivers to turn to blood. And there are those going to pop up saying, I'm a witness. So it's going to be many people talking about that they are doing the acts mentioned of the two witnesses. And there are going to be some who are going to fall for it, succumb to the deception. Beware, O Yashar'al, for the strength and severity of the ministry of the two witnesses will prove beyond a doubt they are who the Almighty Father say they are, and that they are here to do the task of contributing the words, the power, and the discipline to bring Yashar'al closer together. And their final days will be in Jerusalem, saying to anyone that is a set-apart child of Yahuah, you're in the wrong place. Yashar'al has been gathered around the set-apart mountain of Yahuah, which I believe is Jabal al, the true Mount Sinai, that's listed in the northwest quadrant of what is known as Saudi Arabia. But believe it or not, there was no Middle East in those days. That was northeastern Africa. But many false teachers will begin to say that they did this and take credit for things they knew not. But they want you to think that they're in tune. Beware of the false teachers and prophets, my brothers and sisters. Leadership must be prepared to confirm and reaffirm the presence of the two witnesses. Not wait till we see exactly what is happening as described in Revelation 11 chapter. We must begin to look at the candidates and vet and begin to narrow down chosen leaders And we may just discover that the two anointed prophets mentioned in Revelation's 11th chapter are already alive and walking the planet. They just have not reached the fullness of what they are charged to do. Let us prepare, O Yashar'al, to discover what is expected of us. I'm not here to debate nor argue. I say this to you, O Yashar'al. Learn how to vet, identify, and recognize those that are sincere and that are truly being drawn by the Almighty Father to fulfill this final exodus. Listen to the words of those who are strong in their belief and are prepared to die for Yahusha's name. Pray for those who are still on milk, stumbling with belief. But trust that the discipline that is promised, as it is in Revelation 3:19, how he disciplined those whom he loved. In Hebrews 12 chapter, discipline, seriousness. It's time to ask questions, seek, vet. Let's visit or revisit these words, O Yashar'al. This is the first time I'm reading in this video, but I've spoken of these before. Luke chapter 12, 39 through 48. 12, 39 through 49. Come with me to Luke chapter 12, 39 through 49. And now this, that if the master of the house had known what hour the thief comes, he would have watched and not allowed his house to be broken into. And you then, be ready, for the son of Adam is coming at an hour you do not expect. And Kepha said to him, Master, do you speak this parable to us or also to all? And the master said, Who then is a trustworthy and wise manager, whom his master shall appoint over his household, to give the portion of food in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his master shall find so doing when he comes. Truly I say to you, that he shall appoint him over all his possessions. But if that servant says in his heart, My master is delaying his coming, and began to beat the male servant and female servants, and to eat and drink and be drunk, the master of the servant shall come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour that he does not know, and shall cut him in two, and appoint his portion with unbelievers. And that servant who knew his master's desire and did not prepare, nor did according to his desire, shall be beaten with many stripes. But he who did not know, yet did what deserved flogging, shall be beaten with few. And everyone to whom much is given, from him much shall be demanded. And to whom much has been entrusted, from him much more shall be asked. I came to send fire on earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. Yashar'al, we are moving in a time where we need to take heed to warnings. Are you satisfied with your moray, your teacher, your pastor, your community head? Are they imparting on you the things that draw you closer to Yahusha HaMashiach? Are they causing you to be in a state of seeking to walk in obedience and lift up Yahusha in preparation for us being gathered? Remember, O Yashar'al, there are warnings that have been presented since the days of old. Let me read some of these warnings as it relates to leadership. For leadership must accompany the two witnesses. Leadership must confirm and reaffirm. Leadership must conduct the activities and tasks that the Almighty Father wants them to do in conjunction with the presence of the two witnesses. Here are some warnings just to be mindful. Jeremiah 23, 1 through 4. Here the prophet reads, Woe to the shepherds destroying and scattering the sheep of my pastor, declares Yahuah. How many of those among us as leaders, mores, teachers, pastors, and priests are causing destruction amongst the sheep of Yashar'al, the set-apart, obedient ones? He said, therefore, thus said Yahuah, the Almighty One of Yashar'al, against the shepherds who feed my people. You have scattered my flock, driven them away, and have not tended to them. See, I am punishing you for the evil of your deeds, declares Yahuah. Therefore I shall gather the remnant of my flock out of all the lands where I have driven them, and shall bring them back to their fold, and they shall bear and increase. And I shall raise up shepherds over them, and they shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, and shall nor be discouraged, and shall be lacking, nor shall they be lacking, declares Yahuah. I shall raise up shepherds over them to feed them. They won't fear anymore. They won't be discouraged. They won't lack anything. Do you think these shepherds that he raised up will reinforce and complement the actions of the two witnesses? Let me also read Matthew 23:14 and 15. For it reads, woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you eat up widows' houses, and for a show make long prayers. Because of this you shall receive greater judgment. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you go about the land and the sea to win one convert. When he is won, you make him a son of Gehenna, or hell, twofold more than yourselves. Yashar'al, Yashar'al. We're moving into time where we should be serious, knowing how we would be structured, knowing how leadership will bring us together, knowing how to put our egos in check and yield to what is right. Many corrections are coming. There are some corrections I have presented before Yashar'al, and the overconfident and overzealous mores who has said that they are untrue. They think because they haven't spoken to me one-on-one that I don't know and can't see that they dispel, they fight, and they argue, and they teach against corrections that I have brought forth, and others as of me have brought forth, as the Spirit of Yahuah in Yahusha's name has brought us to deliver. Corrections are coming. It will be so severe to those who continue to fight and war against it, that they will face an unbearable pain and regret. Some will face sickness unto death. A great purging and cleansing is coming, has begun already. There are those that are dying off. Some will die off completely, quickly, more quicker than others. There will be the few who will yield to discipline and correction and rise up strong in set apartness, and execute the judgment and discipline and instruction that is ordered of them by the Almighty Father. Let us learn how to discern, how to navigate. Know the difference between those who are faking it and those who are literally drawn, directed, and ordered by the Almighty Father to contribute towards its final exodus and the strengthening of a set-apart nation. My brothers and sisters, there will be times, many times, when we must not look back. Looking back, just as though Lot's wife looked back and turned to a pillar of salt, some of us will learn that looking back is a weight. It will weigh us down. Pain is coming. Unbearable pain from the loss of loved ones is coming. Unbearable pain from the destruction that's coming. Our eyes must be focused on Yahuah, lifting him up and obeying him, knowing that his plan had described destruction, earthquakes, famine, pestilence, disease, rivers turning to blood. These things are presented to us in scriptures. Let us know they are coming, O Yashar'al. But when we look to him and do what he says, We will be strong even up until the end in these earthen vessels. And there will be some of us that will be physically alive during the physical return of Yahusha Mashiach. Let's have the strength to know that when we look forward, when we press forward, when we focus, when we vet, when we examine and press on into the directions in which we are supposed to be headed, it will lighten the weight and reduce the pain. And we will find that strength will come from those who have the fortitude, the strength, the insight, the foresight to tell us what we're supposed to be doing, how we're supposed to be doing, and where we're supposed to be going. It's so many details, O Yashar'al. And to each who have a task, they will become clearer and clearer in the days ahead. There will be continuous building and gathering as the tight group gets larger and larger. But when compared to the physical population of the world, it would be a remnant. And I believe that remnant, though, will be millions, possibly tens of millions. But when you compare that to nearly 8 billion or more on the planet, that's a remnant. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, I ask you, are you my brother? Are you my sister? Why don't we communicate? Why? Prepare to witness answers by the Spirit of Abba Yahuah in Yahusha's name. For a set-apart family will be recognized. A set-apart family will participate in the final Exodus. A set-apart family will be physically alive during the physical return of Yahusha Mashiach. And the two witnesses of Revelation, these two anointed ones will and are introducing the things that are necessary that will break the bonds and strongholds of erroneous teachings and beliefs in such a manner that correction will come. Yashar'al will come together. What are we supposed to be doing? Vetting one another, being as iron sharpening iron. Not just patting each other on the back, not laughing and playing, not just feeding one's time and attention on what they're doing outside the court. It's a lot of, this is what's happening. This is what's going to happen. These things are happening. But how many people are saying, this is what we must be doing day to day? How many among us are saying we have demonstrated and are demonstrating what it means for iron to sharpen iron, to move beyond the impurities and become sharper and stronger in the spirit of set-apartness? Stay tuned, Yashar'al. Details will become clear. Severe words will begin to move forward. In some cases, it will cause pain and regret. It says in Hebrews that no discipline for the present seemeth joyous in the 12th chapter, but afterwards it yields a peaceful fruit of righteousness. Pain will come. Pain is here. In the midst of all the uncertainty, the civil unrest, the wars, rumors of wars, economic downturns, in the midst of all this, O Yashar'al, are those who understand why these things must come to be and how we are to act. We are to be prayerful, mindful, vet, be stronger in the vetting, rise up sharper as iron sharpening iron, and step into obedience to the tasks that have been given us by the Almighty Father. I salute your patience in listening to this message, and I ask you, O Yashar'al, prepare to gird up, prepare to see the leadership that will confirm and support the two witnesses of Revelation. Their anointing will shine forth. The power will come forward. And I believe they are physically alive and walking the planet. And soon and very soon, O Yashar'al, we'll know who they are without any doubt, without any confusion. And those who are trying to mimic them will say that they are one of the two witnesses. Many of them will begin to drop like flies. They will face death, physical death at the hand of the Almighty Father. Many of them, their actions will be so obvious, we will be able to see the ignorance, the rebellion, the wickedness that have befallen them, that have fallen on them. On that note, Yashar'al, think long and hard, pray long and strong, seek to discern what you should be doing, for there are tasks given to each of us, the many members functioning as one set-apart family. On that note, O Yashar'al, I salute your patience, your tolerance, your pursuit of set-apartness. I pray, my brother, I pray, my sister, that you realize these words are to be taken serious, that the duties that are ahead of us are to be taken serious. Each of us have a task to do. Are there times to demonstrate joy? Yes. But folly and laughter when talking about end times, something's wrong with that picture. Especially when someone say, well, everybody know me. I laugh like that from time to time. I giggle and chuckle. Is that really the person you believe that have the discipline of the set-apart spirit? Do we read of any example of a leader of the children of Yahuah just laughing and giggling? Especially those that spoke of end times. No. My brother, my sister, when the two witnesses come, they will not hesitate. They will not look back. They will execute all that is necessary to bring a set-apart nation together at the set-apart mountain of Yahuah. And their last plea before they die would be in Jerusalem, letting those who are thinking they were supposed to go to Jerusalem know that they need to go to the body centered around the focal point, the set-apart mountain of Yahuah. There are more details and more things to be said and done. Prepare, O Yashar'al, for we have less than 2 years to see massive movement in such a way we've never imagined. I believe the two witnesses will be two shepherds that will say to the world, let my people go, that we may go to the mountain, to the region of the set-apart mountain of Yahuah. Let my people go, and you will assist them with loading up on ships, container ships, where the containers have been refitted to transport millions of people. You will assist those who will go across land that do not have an ocean to cross in getting to that region. You will assist the set-apart ones, and I am speaking to the leaders of the world. And many of you don't know it, and some who are at the highest of echelon know that the one world government, the anti-Mashiach, the antichrist, and the false prophet cannot take full position until he that restrains is moved out the way, as mentioned in Thessalonians. And we are that restrainer. It's not talking about a rapture. It's talking about us being gathered to the land that has been given us and letting the outer court be, for they have their judgment. On that note, be encouraged, O Yashar'al. We are the generation witnessing much that those who were before us never had the opportunity to physically see. Know this, O Yashar'al. We will learn that in love comes serious decisions and severe decisions. Let me end here. I invite your questions, your comments, your communications, your fellowship. But know this, it comes with examination, vetting one another, getting to know one another. What are we doing to truly get to know one another, to truly identify what we should believe, our position of belief, testing it, making sure we're on the right track, proving it by identifying the word as it comes alive. Enough said for now. Take care, my brothers and sisters. End times are here. Sooner than we think, we will see what is necessary to make these things happen. On that note, shalom, shalom. Shalom to you, my brother, my sister, my family.